Now we're recording. Hey, look who I ran into.
Yeah.
Magnolia Sunshine. It's so great to see you. I mean, I've been following you on your Instagram, and I'm out here. I'm new out here, and I was like, how do you ever? There's so many people out here. How do you ever even meet anybody?
Right.
And so I know just through some of the conversations that we've been having that you were in Nevada.
Yeah.
And since I was coming to Nevada, I was driving and said, well, this is where I'm going to stop, is in this area.
Right.
But I don't know exactly where I'm going to go. You know, that's one of the fun things about,
Yes.
RV life.
Yeah,
You don't?
I would say that too.
Have to really have a destination exactly, because you're driving your home, so you can kind of stop anywhere, right?
Exactly.
But then it can become sometimes really challenging. Like the day before, I ended up wanting to go in the hotel.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a hotel. Everybody was off the roads because the winds were so high. I couldn't believe every hotel was completely packed, and all the RVs were sitting in those parking lots. And the owners were in the hotel. So I ended up sleeping in my RV in the parking lot of the hotel.
Gotcha.
Which wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. But it's part of that opting for freedom.
It sure is. Absolutely. I've done that many of times. Like, I've done that many of times. And yeah, I could agree. It can be one of the fun things about just the nomadic lifestyle. But it can also be draining sometimes.
Okay.
It can be draining sometimes. You know, not trying to find a place to be.
Yeah.
You know?
And then people can be funny and sketchy and messy with you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
People can be just a mess.
You'd
be surprised what human beings are capable of. You just really be surprised, you know? And it never outdo me what people do. You know, my work, I've met so many kind of people. But Magnolia, I just am fascinated that, you just picked up and, with your children, and I know your sister was with you. And how did you just come to terms to do this? Tell me more about who you are.
Okay.
And how did you get here, and how did you do this?
Well, I'm from Compton, California.
Okay.
I am an identical twin.
Okay.
I'm a single mom. I've always been a single mom. And I always told myself when I was younger that I wanted to, whenever I had kids, because I knew I wanted kids, that I would travel with them. I would travel young. You know, we didn't have that. My mom's a very strong woman. Single mom as well. So I always said that when I have kids, I want to give them a broader perspective. About the universe.
Yes.
I did not think that I was gonna homeschool. That was never like in my mind. And I was in transition some years back, and I ended up having to put them in homeschool, and it was one of the best things that ever happened for them and for me. So then I was like, I did put them back into public school, but I knew that I was going to return to homeschooling.
Homeschool is really, some folks, I think society has got so accustomed to what's socially projected upon us as what's acceptable about schooling your children. Until, if you're not homeschooling with some, maybe, and I could be wrong, but like a tutorer or somebody outside of yourself that's allegedly supposed to be the professional in doing it. But I also had the opportunity to homeschool my children, and then also my grandchildren. And how that ended up happening, my children have chronic health issues. So rather than when they were young,
my son does
keeping them out of school and losing so much of their school year, I just homeschooled them, and they never missed anything, and they all graduated from on time from grammar school and high school. and they became much, much more well-rounded and diverse individuals.
Exactly.
I look at them and I looked at their friends, and they were just like completely different. Their minds were much open.
Yeah.
And now my grandchildren, and I'm happy that we're homeschooling them. Well, they're out now. I only have one grandson that's in his senior year now.
Nice.
And he travels with me a lot. You all see him a lot on my videos and things.
That's good.
But I'm homeschooling him.
Okay.
And it came that way because he was bullied. He was bullied out of the public school system.
My son was too.
He was bullied out of the system. And rather than my grandson fight, and become a statistic, either by being hurt really bad or going to jail,
right, or hurting someone.
Exactly. We just decided to take him out of the madness. I got tired of the calls running up to the school and leaving work, and and the school just didn't seem to be able to handle the bully situation. So,
they don't.
Right.
I don't really feel like they have healthy solutions for these children.
Right.
And so now they're left to figure it out by themselves. And these are like, my son was being bullied at 5 and 6 and 7, and it's not really a thing that they should have to worry about. At that age.
Exactly.
At any age, but especially at such a young age. And I just don't really agree with the way the school system is set up. Although I have many family members that work in the school system, for me, I don't really, I didn't connect with it. For myself personally, and then my children, they learn very differently. Yes. And they weren't being catered to. Like my daughter, she loves to be practical. She loves to be practical. Okay. And she loves to reference things, so she wants to talk. She wants to move around. And,
right.
And of course, in the public school systems, like that's not gonna be honored.
It's not accepted. They say when she needs to move around, learning in the method in which she learns in, then it's considered a behavior problem.
Exactly.
And she's not being obedient. She's not cooperating. She's disruptive.
Thank you. She's disruptive. Yes. And I would always get, she's very sweet girl. Very sweet. She just, she always wants to help. She wants to be up. She talks. Even if she's talking about the work, they're like, she's talking so much. Yes. And I'm like, how is that an issue? How is this being brought to me as an issue? Right. And then my son, he's the type, he's the, very intelligent. He can learn. He can sit. You can give him a task, and he can sit there by himself and get it done. Or he can, if he has to move around, and if that's being told to him, he can do that too. But he's the kid that he has nothing to do because he's done all his work, so he's bored. So of course, as a kid, he's going to begin to create things for him to do. So he's being disruptive as well. Right, he's being disruptive because he's bored. Right. This is what they're telling me. He's bored because all his work is done.
Well, my youngest daughter, it went as far as to say, because of her being bored and because of the level and the methods of teaching, she would always finish everything and then she had nothing to do. Yeah. And so then the teacher would say, I've given her extra work all the time, but she just runs straight through it. I don't know if she's comprehending it. She's doing it, but I don't know if she's comprehending it. Right. And my daughter would always say, Mom, why do I need to go to school? They're not teaching me anything. I'm not learning anything.
That's my son.
And so
I could create that myself. I could create that myself. Or like his homework, he'd be like, really,
But we're not going to keep bashing the public school system.
No,
it is great for those that it worked for.
Exactly.
And it's
that's what I
so great to have other options. There are so many other methods to, educate your children,
Exactly. And
yourself. And I was just going to say, and yourself. And this here is one.
Yes.
So that was that part of, because of the school system and your transition, what put you out here?
That was one reason. And then, like I said, I always wanted to travel with my kids.
Okay.
So, I was looking up a video.
Mhm.
You know, I've been in the healing arts for 17 years now.
Okay.
So I looked up a video about the law of attraction,
Okay.
and this woman pops up, and she's talking about it in
Mhm.
her van. Her husband, and their little daughter, and I was
Okay.
like, what is this? Like, why is she
Who
in
is
a
these
van?
people in a van, right?
I was really like, this is very interesting, you know. And so I kept watching their page, and I'm like, okay, oh, they actually live in this? And I'm like, it's very cute. They had it very nice. And I was like, people do this. So I started looking up van life because they had it in their caption.
Mhm.
And I'm like, van life? What is this? So van life, RV life,
Mhm.
this whole community, it felt like this secret world that I never knew about.
Yes, absolutely right.
Yeah,
girl.
And I was
I'm
like,
feeling the same way.
yeah, so then I was like, okay, God, okay, universe, okay.
Okay.
You know, because I had already been looking at different options to travel, like I said, with my kids. And I was really considering just going and traveling by plane or whatever. But I was like, that might be so exhausting. So then, RV life. That's how it came to me. And I was obsessed. I was hooked. And I started saving immediately. And within a year, I transitioned into RV life. And we've been off-grid for 3 years now.
Oh, you've been off-grid for 3 years.
3 years, I know.
Oh, wow. So tell me more about that. So you needed something different. You wanted to travel.
Yeah.
So in honoring your children's needs and honoring your desire, and that's what I call the bottom line when I talk about opting for freedom.
I love that.
For me, freedom is just doing things that bring me peace. And living in peacefully is make me feel like I'm free.
Exactly.
So, you know, opting for freedom is not necessarily about quitting a job and not paying bills or even going off the grid. It's about being authentic to who you are and being authentic and doing it your way. You know, get away from what's being socially projected upon us. Of saying the only way you're going to get some validation to tell you are good enough is this way. And so then there's a lot of people subscribe to that, especially, and I'm just going to say, people of color and women. And we do this because we want acceptance. We want to say that we've done it, and especially when you're a single parent, you know what I'm saying? You need that validation.
Well, we think we need it from an outside source, but we don't.
Because you did something against the social norm, first of all, because you are a single parent. You're not with the 2.5 kids, the dog, and the white picket fence and that kind of thing. You know, working a job and a half. You know, whatever it may be. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you have already went against the grid before you went off the grid.
Exactly.
You know? And so how is it out here? I mean, how do people receive you? I'm just going to ask you 3 questions. And, you know, just because of time, we'll do a little short answers. How do people perceive you when you tell them, oh, I travel in an RV with my children? And what are their responses to you to that? Also, what has been your greatest challenge? I know there's many challenges in this life, but what is one of your most significant challenges? And what has been one of your greatest rewards for being out here?
I love that. Okay, so to answer the first question, which was how do people respond? More often than not, usually it's in a very positive, loving, open-minded way. And I think it's because, you know, most people, you know, they desire to live freely.
Yes.
We all desire to walk in our authentic truth. And like you said, that looks different for everybody. And so, yeah, I get a lot of love. Oh my goodness, like, I want to do that. Most people say that. I want to do that, or that's so amazing, or they just want to know more. You know, so most people, I've had some negative experiences. And that's okay. You know, it's because, you know, like you said, we've been taught that it's supposed to look this
That's
way.
right. That's social
So if
structure.
it looks different, yeah, it's like, what? You know, I've gotten, oh, you're homeless and all types of things. But more often than not, like I said, it's been a very pleasant thing. So, there's that, you know. And then the second question, you said,
what has been one of your most a challenge that you had to face? Yeah.
I would say, for me, nothing major. My rig is old. She's an older model. So just dealing with challenges like upgrading her and getting her finished and like actually strong enough for the road.
Okay.
That's it. Other than that, honestly, nothing. Just that for me. And
it sounds like to me, wouldn't you say that? I'll just have this thing jumping inside of me to respond, because I have this thing I call the winner's circle. And the winner's circle are people, and I call it a circle because everything that goes around come around, right?
Absolutely.
And so I say it's the winner's circle for the simple fact, when you're able to embrace your challenges as opportunities for growth, then they cease to be a challenge. And then you just kind of forget that you had that difficulty. And so somebody asks you specifically about, how did you learn to do this? Or how did you do that? And usually these great, wonderful things have come out of our challenges.
Absolutely.
So yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that reminds me of enjoying the process. Learning to enjoy the process. You know?
Would you say in learning the process have been one of your greatest rewards?
Oh, absolutely. Learning to enjoy. Because I would say it to other people. I would say it to other people for a long time, but it wasn't really, you know, I didn't really start to walk in that. Until I transitioned. Like, okay, this is what learning to enjoy the process means. You know, knowing and trusting the process, knowing that everything is working out in divine order,
right? And
just like you said, being okay with how things are flowing. You know, not seeing it as a challenge, seeing things as an opportunity to grow and learn, and you know, become better.
You know, and I see that as a way that, you know, by trade, I am a psychotherapist, okay? And I'm out here, I've joined the nomadic life, you know, and I'm still doing my work. I'm working as a transitional life coach and whatever else it brings, okay? And I'm just saying, because I'm always open to everything, okay? But when we were just talking about, you know, just that little piece, people don't know who they are. They don't know how they got there. They don't know why they're doing the things that they do. They just do them because somebody said so. And then what happens, what I noticed that happens, like you said, enjoying the process. Enjoying the process requires acceptance of the state or the situation or circumstances that you're in. So you can't even get to the process if you don't accept it. If you continue to push against the process, then you never embrace it. So therefore, your experience of it becomes something different. You know, it becomes trauma. It becomes tragic. It becomes really a negative thing. And because of that, that leads people into anxiety. It leads people into depression because somehow they are not meeting the bar of life's measurement that has been set up for us. So they can't accept they can't learn the process and embrace it and enjoy it because you're always pushing against the darn process. And then it gives you anxiety, it gives you depression. And I know a lot of people come out here and they embrace, you know, get into, you know, the RV living and van life and nomadic living. But they find that there's nothing between them and themselves.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
there's no distraction. And then there further have people to go into depression and things like that.
Exactly.
And so you're a single mom, you got your kids, you got the society at large, and you are just living it up and just enjoying it. And
Yeah,
with that
doing my
said,
best.
when I say the word freedom,
Mhm.
what does the word freedom mean to you?
It means so much. Honestly, when I think of what freedom means to me, it just simply means living in my authentic truth. Like,
Okay.
you know, it took me a while to actually do that and
Mhm,
and you know,
mhm.
live in peace
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, actually do what I want to do.
Yes.
Not what I feel like I'm being told I have to do.
Mhm, mhm.
Actually do what I want, what I desire,
Mhm.
what my heart truly desires,
Mhm.
you know, which
Mhm.
is help heal the world,
Okay.
travel with my kids,
Mhm.
learn as we travel,
Mhm.
and eventually build a tiny home community.
Okay.
That's what I want to do.
Oh wow.
So just living in, you know, that's what
Mhm.
freedom means to me. Just
Okay.
continuously living in my truth.
Mhm.
You know, like we said, it looks different for everybody.
Right.
So.
And we're not saying to be free means that you have to be a nonconformist.
Oh, yeah,
you don't
no.
do this. You
Absolutely
follow the
not.
rules. You abide by the laws.
Exactly.
You know, you wear clothes in the public. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
exactly.
you're not, you know, going against anything that's society's norms.
Yeah.
You're just finding your
Your
truth.
truth and actually walking in it.
And walking and living in it.
Exactly.
Because in the world that we're in, you know, that's your birthright. That's your right
Thank
of
you.
passage.
I say that so much.
It's your right of
birthright.
passage. Yes,
Yes, it is.
So good for you. You found it.
Thank you.
You know, you embraced it.
Yes, ma'am.
So what would you say to anyone that's watching this video that, you know, that are looking not, you know, for the van life, nomadic life, or any of that? Because those are just pathways.
Yeah, it's just
Those
an
are just
option.
pathways to freedom.
Exactly.
You know, you know, just because you're in the van life don't mean, oh yeah, I'm optimally free.
Right.
You know, just because you're in a nomadic life doesn't
Very
mean
true.
woohoo, I've arrived, I'm free.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that.
You got it.
And the nomadic life is different for various different people.
It sure is.
You
Very
know?
different.
So when I say, what would you say to someone that's in search of themselves, that's in search of freedom? What is something you would say to them? Give me one thing as a single parent. Give me one thing as a woman.
Okay.
And a woman of color.
Okay.
And just as a human being, being out here, living your authentic life. Just one short thing in each area that you would offer if somebody would ask.
Well, I would just simply say, begin to be patient first and foremost. Be patient with yourself when you're doing your best to find yourself, and know that it's a process. And but also begin to take baby steps towards just speaking your authentic truth, living in your authentic truth. What do you truly desire? Like, what is your heart's true desire? And begin to just begin to walk in that, you know, and just take your time with it.
All
you
right.
know?
All right. And that covered all areas,
Now,
because
okay,
it don't
great.
matter right who you are,
Yeah.
that will work. And especially when you are in some socially identified cultures.
Yeah.
You have to find your way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things were not already laid out in the pathway for you to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
You know, it takes time. So what you're saying, you have to be patient.
Yeah, know that it's a process, and you'll get there, you know, once you really identify and pinpoint the things that you truly desire. Like, what do I really truly want for myself? What does that look like? And begin to move in that, you know, move in that direction.
Okay.
And yeah, like you said, freedom is it's just living your authentic truth.
Living your
That's
authentic
it.
truth.
You know, what do you desire?
Just like we are out here in this undisclosed location, because we don't want you to know where we are, because I know everybody want to be here. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's outside, so forgive the wind. I hope you can hear us over the wind, but again, embracing the circumstances, embracing the situation.
Absolutely.
You know, embracing your choices. We could either have a choice not to have this session and sit here and talk together, because of the wind, you know, in the background, but we're outside. This is what happens when you're outside.
Exactly.
You know, so we're taking our choice to continue to have this, and I hope everybody can hear us.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, it's so
I'm loving it.
Okay. Well, you know, we can sit here and talk. However, I just stopped here and decided to stay here for the night.
And I'm very glad you did.
And I came here because I knew you were here, and I wanted to meet you face to face.
And now we've been talking for a little minute.
Right?
Yeah.
And you were one of the first people to talk to me when I started this life. When I put it out there that I was coming, you were like the second, maybe or maybe even the first person that responded to me to say, hey, welcome.
I love it.
You know, so, and we've been in contact ever since. And anytime I send anything to you, you always respond to it. You know, just, this is what I'm doing, what you doing, are you okay?
Yeah,
so I could not pass through this area and not stop and say hi to you.
I was so glad when you called yesterday. I was like, oh yes, like I love connections. I love making connections, especially in this lifestyle, but just life period. Life period.
Well, you know, it's just like what's his name, Bob Wells said in that movie Nomadland. He said, you never say goodbye. You say,
see you later.
See you later. See you up the road, I think he might have said.
Got you.
I don't know exactly what he said, but what it meant is never goodbye.
Yeah, never.
It's never goodbye.
Yeah.
Because your spirit's connected, your joy. So, I don't know when I'll see you face to face again, but I'm planning on being out here doing this. And I know when you develop your community, I might have a house in your community.
It's coming.
So, you know? Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
I'm honored.
Yes.
I'm very honored. Thank you. Thank
All right.
yourself. And I thank myself.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.